So I was walking around and I was thinking about the question of why to make videos. Like, why would I want to make videos, or what videos mean? Because nowadays, like, making videos is a topic that is not necessarily neutral. It implies to sometimes exhibit yourself in a way that can be considered as vulgar, as too much, as showing yourself and being seen and heard and judged, because you cannot control who potentially access your content and what they do about it and what they think about it. And I was thinking about, like, all these nuances of the practice of making videos. You could also argue that it could make you egocentric. You could argue, because it's centered around a narrative that you craft around yourself. You could argue that it disconnects you from the world, because instead of sometimes being in the world in a present moment, you could potentially disconnect yourself in order to produce content and craft that content to be accessible or liked by other people, right? So there are like many nuances and many like paths for such a debate, right? But me in particular, like, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about answering this question from a personal perspective. And the personal perspective that I have to add to this is that, I was diagnosed with CPTSD, and I have constant symptoms of CPTSD. It's called complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a term and like a diagnosis that is in debate. It's pretty debatable. It's not necessarily accepted by the American Psychology Association. And it is basically a mental health condition where you lived and you were exposed to a lot of consistent high-level trauma or kind of middle-level trauma, and that produces a series of let's say emotional responses and interpretations of the world that are rather negative, intrusive thoughts, negative self-concept, chronic emotional dysregulation, amongst others, right? And I really value the idea of taking responsibility for these things and trying to heal. So I've been in therapy and I've done like a bunch of things to kind of get better. And I was thinking that whenever I'm recording videos and I'm somehow focused on making a video, whether it is as simple as this or a little bit more complex because I'm learning about it, I can say the majority of the times that it is something that I get to kind of have stop very negative self-talk or very intrusive negative thoughts or concepts about the world or concepts about myself that are just highly charged and highly negative. They kind of go into a very silent state when I'm making videos. And that's the first thing that I really, really like, is the fact that I get to focus on something that I like, and I can enter into a state of flow where time passes quite quickly and where thoughts are pretty much shut down, or I'm not sure if it's shut down, but they're quiet and they're a bit kinder. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that I think that thanks to that, I actually feel a lot more connected to a present moment, and it feels like something therapeutic to me. I am connected to the present moment a lot more than being in the present moment with a ton of thoughts that actually cut yourself and the relationship that you can have to that moment, right? So I would say that making videos to me kind of helps me to connect to a moment, to go into a state of flow, and to therapeutically kind of, have... Oh my goodness, there is a cat. Holy crap. Let me show you that cat. God damn, the cat is not visible. the cat ain't visible. Maybe if he moves, I think. Anyway. Oh, oh, oh. Anyway, coming back from the cat, I guess that's all that I have to say. It's just that it's very therapeutic and I really like it. And it has like a therapeutic effect that I want to explore, even though it can have all of these other consequences around, as I said, being seen, being heard, being judged, maybe creating some sort of egocentric relationship to the world. I'm kind of willing to explore what that is because I have a lot of benefits from it. So to the question of why making videos, or why like kind of do something like this, especially when you have a certain age or whatever, you know, I don't want to go too deep into the rabbit hole. I guess it's like the simple answer, and I'm glad to have that answer in like such a beautiful space, and to be able to like articulate this thought process right now. Okay, so let's hope 2026 will be full with like plenty of videos on whether it is life or topics or discussions or whatever. Let's just hope it has some videos in it.